Hello, what's up, everybody? This is Francisco bringing another lesson. This is recovering health. We're getting close to the dismount, so it's for educational purposes. And here we go, Minister Inky and Brother Polite, health, vegans, and sex. I could be surfing, but I love you guys too much.
DNA is to give the blueprint to how to build proteins. That's what DNA does. So when you listen to these niggas that tell you you don't need amino acids, you don't need protein, then that will be them also telling you you don't need DNA, because DNA is also a acid that is classified as a protein, and that's what its job is to do, is to produce more proteins. And that's why we all have it, because each cell is unique. So you actually get rid of your DNA's job. That's number one. Number two, when you heat protein, it denatures it. So the mere fact that we don't eat the animals raw denatures the protein and renders it useless. So when you see carnivores in nature, they don't chop up the chicken and then put him in a frying pan and bake it and see. No. They bite right down into him raw, so they can still get the available minerals and nutrients circulating throughout that animal's body. Now the fourth part is parasites and bacteria. Parasites and bacteria. Whenever you eat animals, you take all of the parasites, fungus, and bacteria from that animal into your body. Animals do not have the same immune system as plants do. Plants have the most advanced immune systems on this planet. Plants have a much more advanced immune system than humans. August 2nd, when you come out, I'm going to show you that plant cells develop before ours. That's why they have a much stronger immune system, because those cells were on this planet dealing with all the BS on this planet long before our cells were. And plants are the only things that adopt and adapt faster than bacteria and virus. Which is why when you consume the plants, again, now you have those things that scientists have yet to identify. Right now, there's over 25,000 different things, we're just going to say that they don't know whether to quantize them as minerals, elements, vitamins, etc. So they're calling them quote-unquote phytonutrients. So anytime you see the word phytonutrient, that means that scientists don't know what the hell that is. They just know that there's a good benefit from eating this, and there's something in there that's doing it, so they call it phytonutrients. Period. That's because they don't want to go and see, the whole thing is, science is going to change. Right now we got like 100 some elements we deal with. In order for them to deal with the 25,000 new things that they've discovered that they know we need, they have to rewrite those elements, rewrite minerals, rewrite textbooks, which is why I'm trying to prepare folks for what's going to replace Newtonian physics, which is light physics, because they already have the laws in place and they're already teaching it in other countries. Biophotonics. That's how light keeps biology running. That's the truth. So basically they've changed what our ancestors left us, the science of the light, body, Heru, etc., and now they're calling it biophotonics. It's the same science, different vocabulary. And so this takes us back to the top of our conversation, because their understanding of our body created their fear of our body, and that's why they're poisoning us, trying by any means necessary to shut down our potential, and in the meanwhile, until they can shut down our potential, shut down our ability to reproduce our potential.
I don't know if you ever been close to anybody who's done a serious bid or went to prison, but if you notice, a brother that did a bid 5, 10 years, 15 years.
I just talked about this.
Secrecy. A brother that come home from doing a bid look great, amazing, healthy, strong, all of that. Now, if they feeding these brothers, some people, they call it mystery meat, and they're like, man, what the hell is this meat? Is it pigeon meat?
I know what it is.
Now, how are these dudes in prison able to maintain such a high quality of health? We out here in the quote-unquote free world, and we toe up. Well, not we, I don't want to put that on, but the brother out here, go ahead, brother.
We out in Philly, vegan mafia, right? So, my man Prince, his uncle just come home from doing 8 years, right? So he got a lot of health issues going on. So he talking to us. They call me up, yo, come down to the house. So I'm over there. We dealing with him. I'm nicer on the biology. Prince is nice with the herbs, so we putting it together. So I'm like, hold on. Let me dial this back. What have you been eating? So he's like, well, I just came home and da-da-da. I'm like, let me stop you. Do you realize, because as we talking to him, telling him what he needs to do to get his health back and all that, and we centering it around changing the diet, moving from eating meat to becoming vegetarian, he's giving us the normal pushback that everybody else experiences when having that conversation. Me knowing what the prison food is, me knowing just the 8 years, I said, whoa, I forgot, I don't know why they mentioned this early in our conversation. Dude, you know you was a vegetarian just now for 7-8 years, right? He was like, no, what are you talking about? I said, all of the meats, not mystery meat, it's soy. So the same thing, we go and get a veggie burger is what you're getting up there, soy. Because soy is government subsidized because 99% of it is GMO. So, one of the reasons why the brothers come home looking like that is because they're already on a vegetarian diet. That's number one. Number two, they have nothing to do but exercise. And I keep trying to tell people exercise is crucial. It don't matter if you eating Jesus toenails, nigga, you got to exercise. There's no herbs on this planet that is going to get you in such a healthy condition that you can rule out exercise. Your fat cells, your adipocytes will always be at war with your muscle cells. Period. This is why when you don't use something in your body, it begins to atrophy. Atrophy is more racist shit that white folks have encoded in science and medicine. So when they say atrophy, what they're actually saying is that the other stuff is getting a drop on it and tearing their ass up because they're shrinking. Meaning, you don't use your muscle cells. They're not shrinking all by themselves. The fat cells are absorbing them, attacking and eating them. So that's why they're going into hiding, because you're feeding the fat cells, you're providing resources, ammunition, guns, bullets for the fat cells in their war against the muscle cells. You have to do the opposite. So when you look at fat cells release their own hormones. It's called resistin. What does resistin do? It helps them resist the electricity that muscle cells generate to destroy them. Now, on the flip side, how do you deal with that? That's why you ought to incorporate the berries into your diet, because berries have something called adiponectin. Adiponectin not only gets rid of resistin, but it destroys fat cells. So when we look at these people that are chronically overweight and they feel like they can't stop no matter what they do, it's because they have a large portion of their body that is built up with white adipose tissue. White adipose tissue, keeping them fat, because as they put things in the body, those cells control and govern what's going on in the body. So much so that it's fat cells that actually create the environment for aromatase to circulate. Aromatase is a enzyme that helps fat cells, because aromatase converts all of your anabolic meaning the hormones that build you up, insulin, testosterone, into catabolic hormones, ones that break you down. Okay, there are depending on your research, there are 12 to 16 different types of estrogen, not counting xenoestrogens. Aromatase converts your anabolic hormones into those different types of estrogen and breaks the body down. So we really just got to get into this study. That's the only way to get out of this problem.
Thing I hear often that I've heard for years about vegans that I want to ask you about is people have the perception that vegans, especially male vegans, they're soft, they're sensitive, They like sissies. You know what I'm saying? I know one brother that used to purchase DVDs from me. He said he tried the vegan thing for a couple of years and he got extremely sensitive. He was in a movie theater one time with a female friend and he just started crying and he couldn't understand. He like, damn, am I crying? Is this shit? And he attributed it to his vegan diet. So could you go into that, brother? Because that makes brothers scared to go that route because they say we live in a concrete jungle. We ain't got time for that sensitive shit in America. So could you go into that?
They're absolutely 100% accurate. Eating a vegan vegetarian diet is going to take initially some of the starch out of your spine. That's where other research has to be done before you embark on this, because you have to know the social political ramifications of diet. A lot of our aggression is not from us. It's from the movies. It's from all the goddamn blood that we're eating. We're addicted to blood. We have to understand what tissue and flesh really is. See, when you look at your body, your cells comes together and makes tissue. Tissues come together, make organs and glands. So you can't eat the flesh of a thing without eating this blood. You're eating the blood because that's the tissue, that's the organs. So now, as we've been bred into a group of people that are cannibals without knowing it, vampires without knowing it, it's very simple. Ask yourself, do you eat blood and drink blood? Yes, you do if you had any chicken. When you bake, because a lot of people say, oh, no, minister, I'm baking my chicken. Right? What is that juice that comes out of the chicken? What is that juice? That is liquefied blood. And that's the part we like to scoop up and put on the rice, right? So we have become vampires and cannibals. So as that blood and the taste for blood, the thirst leaves the system, we're going to calm down. We're going to calm down. Now, here's the flip side. As you begin to boost up the anabolic hormones with the natural fruits, veggies, etc., I guarantee you, not only will you be saluting every morning, but in terms of your performance in the street, you'll have much more endurance, and your muscles will be a lot stronger, and your mind will be clearer, which are the three things that you need to articulately whoop an ass. So when you look at a nigga in the street getting angry, throwing haymakers and trying to scoop slam you, that's way different than Floyd Mayweather in the ring technically taking you all the way out of your game and breaking your ass down. That's the difference between what you look like as a savage and what you look like as a skilled professional. So the vegetarian diet, we have bodybuilders. I got IFBB weightlifting pros in the 40-day fruit fast group. So trust me, it's a guarantee. I can show you the muscle heads. Professional bodybuilders, that's vegetarian and vegan. So it's just a matter of knowing, because a lot of these vegans is loaded up with soy. They loaded up with a whole bunch of shit that produces women's hormones. So, case in example, our ancestors told us that everything is male-female duality. So everything was based on those principles. So, perfect example, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, right? Let me give you my older brother, right? Now, when we was little, I hated sunflower seeds. He loved sunflower seeds. But just to be cool, because he got some sunflower seeds, I'm like, man, let me get them big sunflower seeds. I didn't even know what the hell they was. Pumpkin seeds, right? Now, fast forward. He used to eat bags and bags of seeds every day. By the time I got 15, I couldn't help myself. Babies is flying out of this thing. He could not shoot. He couldn't do anything but shoot blanks for 20 years. Why? I never knew why. Because sunflower seeds are for women. Men are not supposed to eat sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds produce estrogen. Pumpkin seeds, on the flip side, are for males. Pumpkin seeds produce testosterone. That is a male food. Now, understanding that, a healthy male should eat pumpkin seeds.
See, so that's why, if you know anything about your native cultures prior to colonization, you know that there's gender-based food. And that's why today when the type of society we live in is women, they're pushing the women to the front, the gay person to the front, and the straight man and woman is getting pushed back. But in those days, so when they look at the way they ate in those days, they would say, oh, what pigs. Oh, they could eat this and that, but we couldn't eat this, yeah. Blah, 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 blah. But what it was they were using their brains, and they understood the food. Because it was like today, it's just a hobby for us, or some good feelings. But it's really a fuel for your body, and they understood the fuel. Like today, when we go to the gas station, we understand that our car needs regular or premium, but we cannot use diesel fluid. But see, when we talk about food, we don't understand what we need. That's the problem. Some of these foods you can't eat. It's not for you.
Eats a healthy woman, she eats sunflower seeds. It reinforces their dynamic. Now, when we step outside that dynamic, like say for instance, a woman has a fibroid, I will put her on testosterone or anabolic supplements. So I would give her stuff that I would give a man. Why? Yeah, because testosterone and insulin are anabolic. Estrogen is catabolic. Estrogen feeds tumors, it feeds fibroids. So this is why
see, so that's why they're giving us so much estrogen based foods, like soybeans, sunflower seeds, all these stuff produce estrogen. So they're just, and what happening? We're all getting sick with cancer and tumors. I mean, that correlates with each other. It's not a coincidence.
In both ovaries, women have testosterone producing cells. So even women have testosterone producing cells next to their ovaries to keep their ovaries healthy. Once they're loaded with aromatase, like I said earlier, all that's getting converted into more estrogen, which lays the groundwork for chronic inflammation. And once that happens, then we got cervical cancer, fibroid, cyst tumor, the whole gambit. So it's just a matter of knowing the chemistry of how this stuff blends. Our body's a laboratory. Our body's a laboratory, so we got to know the chemical composition of what we eat and how it affects us, and we don't got to get that deep. I don't need you niggas to read textbooks and all that to go too crazy, but we do have to spend at least the same amount of time as we do shopping on our sneakers and researching sneakers. Like, niggas know right now when the next pair of Jordan 12s is coming out in 4 months. They know the release date for the foam posits. They know, like, we don't know that about our body, though. We don't put that same kind of time and research in. So we got to do that. And that comes from loving yourself.
Love yourself.
You know, one of the things people want to eat healthy for, they consider a healthy diet synonymous with living long, a long life, longevity. On the news recently, they interviewed one of the oldest people, I think, in the country. It was a sister. I think she was about 107 years old or something like that. They asked her, what do you do? What do you eat? She said, man, every day in the morning when I wake up, I eat me 4 strips of bacon. Now, when people hear that, it throws them off because they're saying, wait a minute, I was taught to be a vegan, you got to live long. Why is it that this woman eats bacon every morning and she's 100 or something, but yet some 100? You seen it too, right? Right. Oh yeah. Please go into that, Inky.
Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3, Z. That is because our idea of living long is skewed. We think somebody reach 100, they did something, and all these people we see reach 100 look like, you know, they like. If a strong wind come and blow them, they dead. That's not living to 100 to Minister Inky. Living to 100 to Minister Inky is where you still strong and functioning. You're not wearing a diaper. There's no Depends. There's no 27 medications in your cabinet. See, they didn't look in her cabinet to see all the medications she's on. They didn't go that deep. They didn't see the bone density. They didn't see whether she has osteoporosis or not. Right? Why am I saying all that? Because every mammal on this planet, and we are mammals, so we should fit into the dynamic, lives an average of 7 times the amount of years it takes that animal to reach physical maturity. Now, As people, we reach physical maturity between 20 and 30. So if we say 25 times 7, that's 175 years old. So now, when somebody lives to be 100 and people celebrate that and say, oh my God, they did it. Meanwhile, they like this, their spine don't function, all that. I don't consider that anything. That's not living long to me. That's extending suffering. Now, we do have cultures in North Africa and Jamaica where there are old men that are 100 years old and they still work the field. And if you ask them, are they vegetarians, they would say, hell no. However, they live an old school lifestyle. You go back 100 years in this country, nobody ate meat. You know why? Because meat was too expensive. Meat was only for the kings and the queens. Everybody was a vegetarian. So the metabolic illnesses of today were back then called, before they diagnosed it as diabetes, high blood pressure, etc. There was one name for all the metabolic illnesses, and it was called rich man's disease, because only rich folks that ate meat and drank wine got these illnesses. So the research to get into this is what we really got to understand. A lot of things that we take as commonplace today are not fact. Like we think that electric cars and hybrids and all this shit is the new thing. That is not true. Electric cars are what the only thing that existed 100 years ago. This whole gas thing is brand new. When we look at herbs and all this new quote unquote trends to get back to nature, people think this is a new thing. Before 1910, there was nothing else on this earth but herbs. Everywhere in every country, including Europe, Germany, and all wherever the white folks was at. It was nothing but herbs, 1910 and before. And back